Hello, my name is Aaron Covington, and I'm beginning the journey to make a feature film. So I started out my career, my first movie was co-writing Creed with my good friend Ryan Coogler. I also produced and wrote on the TV show Grand Crew for NBC, and a bunch of other projects here and there that I've done that were great, a lot of fun. But now we're post-COVID, post-strike, and I'm trying to do a feature film. I feel like I have a script now that I just wrote in 3 days, which you can read about on my Substack, linked below. And I feel like I have the movie that I can make, maybe get made for $1 million, sub-$1 million really. I wrote it to be that, and I think it has a chance to do well and to resonate with a lot of people. It's about men's mental health, and when things really get overwhelming, that I experienced personally, you know, here in this industry and being out in LA and trying to go for your dreams. So it's a really charming, funny, also heartbreaking story that I think people will really resonate with. And what I hope to do with this video series is just document the process. Let you know where I am in the process and how it goes, and you can really see like what does it take to make a feature film. It's not easy. I think everybody knows that. It's pretty impossible, but it does happen. I believe I'm in a position and have just a little bit of a base of knowledge to at least start to drive things forward, and maybe a decent enough contact sheet list to, and we'll see what happens. You know, a good friend of mine, Patrick Dorsey, is gonna be producing. He'll be one of my producers and helping me find the right team that can put this together as I look for actors, executives, producers, reps, anybody, you know, and financiers, of course, anybody that can help me put this movie together. I just got out of the gym, so I'm really sweaty, but I wanted to do this. So a few things. I should talk about the movie and where I'm at, right? So the movie is called Talented, and it's definitely a reflection of some experiences I've had and friends of mine had during like the COVID lockdown, even before, but that period of time is really a tough period for me, is when I lost a lot of friends. Some took their own lives, and others died in other ways. It just seemed like a deluge of death, for lack of a better, not to be insensitive about it, but this is how it felt to me, where I was literally kind of hesitant to look at my phone at times, because I was like, if it's a text, if it's not from one of like 5 people, I was nervous. And yeah, so I put that into the script, and it's, you know, kind of a tragic tale without giving too much away. Or maybe it's okay that I give it away, because it's not really hidden what happens to the main character. It basically recounts the last 3 months of his life, as he's trying to survive here in LA, and he takes 1 step forward, and it seems like every time he does this, another 3 steps back, until it kind of becomes too much for him. So, you know, that's a story in a nutshell. Very, very personal for me, and I think a lot of people will be able to relate to the feelings that the character goes through, of like elation, and then the opposite. What's the opposite of elation? Just complete deflation. And that's the script. And like I said, I wrote the first draft in like 3 days. I was just doing like 30 pages a day. I did the outline on a Tuesday, and then the rest of it really just came to me. And I'll detail how I wrote the script in another post on Substack, because there's a lot of screenwriting technique and strategy that comes into that allowed me to do this, and that I want to explain and help young writers understand how they can structure their story and even think about how it comes together. Then I got some feedback from it from a couple people, Patrick included, and then I spent, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday the following week doing a revision, allowing me to eliminate a couple characters and just make it a little cleaner in terms of the story progression and the character arc. And really, sometimes with third acts, I can kind of rush through them. So I was gonna have to do that anyway and kind of pace it out a little bit more. So I think it sits at like 91, 92 pages now, and it feels good for a low budget feature that, you know, takes place in LA. It's a lot of just people talking in a sense, some phone call conversations, which are easy to shoot. I think I'll do another video where I talk about the process of writing and thinking about it with the budget in mind. Not that this story even lends itself to a big budget. It is a very character-driven, human grounded story, but it can be easy to get caught up in the trap of set pieces or making sequences that move. But your characters can really drive that, and you can do that without escalating the budget. So I'll talk about that. And where I am right now, I've already started sending it out to people. I've sent it to about 3 producers. I sent it to somebody on the representation side that I am familiar with, that I know, and another filmmaker. And I feel good about it, and it's in a place that I'm happy to let other people read it. And they can give feedback, or we can discuss further. And there's no time limit. People take the time that they need. And people have piles of scripts, right? So they'll read it when they get a chance. I included a pitch deck, at least to the producers, which I will probably share on here at some point. That's where it's at in brief. I didn't want to make the first video super long. I just kind of wanted to tell you who I am, what the story is, and where it is at now. Along the way, I also hope to interview a number of industry professionals, people that have made films, people that work in different industries that help people make films, crowdfunders, people with software that should help films, crew members, peers in terms of like other directors that have made films and other writers that have seen films get made. Just anybody that can shed some light on the process for people that want to tune in, and also anybody that can help guide me towards getting my film made, which is the ultimate goal of this. And ultimately, this series would end with a world premiere of the film, whether it's a theater me and the team rent out, a film festival, it gets theatrical release somewhere, or even on a streamer, and we rent a room or we screen it at the house or something. Like, the goal is to get something made, and it's a long journey. I've seen it happen. I've been a part of it a few times on different scales, so this will be my first time getting this far. Well, we'll talk about the past in another video. But yeah, and but I really believe in this. I believe it's also a subject that needs to be talked about. So I'll talk about that in another episode too. A lot of this is gearing you up for future episodes, but I want to make a lot of videos, and I want to really document the process, show people what it's like trying to make a film. Trying to make a film in LA, and the ins and outs of this part of the industry. I think a lot of times we get information where it's like people making short films, or they made films somewhere else, and I think I just see online and hearing conversations a lot of times the assumptions people make about doing work in LA, and oftentimes people couldn't be farther off. It's much less diabolical, I think, than people think. And everybody is making their own decisions, and sometimes the way that looks from the outside can be pretty messed up, but the reality of it is sometimes not any different than just starting a business. You want to start a smoothie shop and the bank won't give you the money. Sometimes it's simple as that. Sometimes the bank manager is a racist and won't give you the money, or sexist. Things like that happen out here too. Pray that these don't happen to us. So anyway, a little detour there, but stay locked in, stay tuned. I'll be sharing a lot of information, try to do a video or 2 a week. And if I don't post a video, I also have my podcast, Black Guys and White Movies, or my dad podcast, 40 Black and Dad, which is also going to make this a little harder because I do have a 10-month-old daughter at home. So she's number one priority in all things. So just keep that in mind. Never forget that. And yeah, I look forward to sharing more with you, and I look forward to making a film.